Mukunda began to come, his wife and another black boy, Yurjan Karlapati. I gave him name Karlapati. He was coming. Then one day that boy Murray, he showed some crazy features. So I thought it is dangerous to live with him. So I approached Mukunda. Mukunda had no place, still I asked him. So I kept my goods at Mukunda's house and went to live with Yurjan. That is another loft. So in this way, with great hardship, sometimes here, sometimes there, in this way I got $200 by selling books. And then I asked Mukunda to find out an apartment. He found this apartment, 26 2nd Avenue. One store front down and one living quarters up. So I found it very convenient. Down I would lecture and hold kirtan. So he charged $75 per month for the apartment, small apartment. I think in a space like this room or less than that. Everything is there. There was kitchen, shower, 2 rooms. I think less than this. 2/3 of this room and everything is there. Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrutyam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Sarasvatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudhiraye Nashtaprayesha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 2, and Text 6. Maitreya Vacha Prajaha Srujeti Bhagavan Praja Srujeti Bhagavan Kardama Brahmana Uditaha Kardamo Brahmanoditaha Sarasvatyam Tapaha Tepe Sarasvatyam Tapastepe Sahasranam Sama Dasha Sahasranam Sama Dasha. Maitreya Vacha Praja Shrujeti Bhagavan Kardamo Brahmanoditaha Sarasvatyam Tapastepe Sahasranam Samadasha. Maitreya Vacha. The great sage Maitreya said, Prajaha children. Sruja, beget. Iti, thus, Bhagavan, the worshipful, Kardama Muni, Brahmana, by Lord Brahmā, Uditaha, commanded, Sarasvatyam, on the bank of the river Sarasvatī, Tapaha, penance, Tepe, practiced, Sahasranam, of thousands, Samaha, years, Dasha, 10. Translation, purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swamy Prabhupada. Translation, the great sage Maitreya replied, commanded by Lord Brahmā to beget children in the worlds, the worshipful Kardama Muni practiced penance on the bank of the river Sarasvatī for a period of 10,000 years. Please repeat, the great sage Maitreya replied, commanded by Lord Brahmā to beget children in the worlds, the worshipful Kardama Muni practiced penance on the bank of the river Sarasvatī for a period of 10,000 years. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. It is understood herein that Kardama Muni meditated in yoga for 10,000 years before attaining perfection. Similarly, we have information that Valmiki Muni also practiced yoga meditation for 60,000 years before attaining perfection. Therefore, yoga practice can be successfully performed by persons who have a very long duration of life, such as 100,000 years. In that way, it is possible to have perfection in yoga. Otherwise, there is no possibility of attaining the real perfection. Following the regulations, controlling the senses and practicing the different sitting postures are merely the preliminary practices. We do not know how people can be captivated by the bogus yoga system in which it is stated that simply by meditating 15 minutes daily, one can attain the perfection of becoming one with God. This age, Kali Yuga, is the age of bluffing and quarrel. Actually, there is no possibility of attaining yoga perfection by such paltry proposals. The Vedic literature, for emphasis, clearly states 3 times that in this age of Kali, Kalo nastiva, nastiva, nasti iva. There is no other alternative than Hare Nama, chanting the holy name of the Lord. Dasansta Bhaktivedanta Parpoto Madhnanatimirandhasya Jananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Ena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Nitinamine Namaste Sarasvate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So this verse looks surprising to modern mind, because here it is said, Brahmanoditaha, Lord Brahmā has commanded. Then what is the delay? But here you see Kardama Muni is saying, Sarasvatyam tapastepe. What did Kardama Muni do immediately? Has he rushed to beget children? No, he went to Sarasvatyam tatya. He went to the bank of Sarasvatī river. Then what did he do there? Sarasvatī river, auspicious river, highly conducive for spiritual practices. We see in Bhagavatam that many sages taken shelter of that river. And then after going there, Kardama Muni, tapastepe, he practiced penance. Severe austerities he has performed. For how many years? Sahasranam samadasha. For 10,000 years he has practiced austerities. Quite surprising for the modern mind. In fact, it is counterintuitive what that Kardama is doing. Or it may even look crazy that somebody is asking someone to produce children and then he is rushing to do tapas. We never hear that kind of things in the modern world. And then Prabhupada is explaining in the purport that Kardama Muni, he practiced tapas for 10,000 years in order to attain perfection. What is this perfection? It is not perfection in producing children. The perfection we will see in the further shlokas. He could see the Supreme Personality of Godhead face to face. This is the perfection. In Vedic culture, sex is considered sacred and dharmic activity. In some other religions, sex is considered sin or a forbidden activity. According to their story, initially there was one male and female. They ate some forbidden fruit, so there is a forbidden action. And that's how the sex began between man and woman. Is considered shameful, sinful. But in Vedic culture, Bhagavad Gita also says that dharma aviruddha, the sex is considered dharmic activity, provided this sacred activity is done only for sake of producing children. That's all. There should not be any other purpose. The relation between man and woman, the sexual relationship, is considered sacred only if the intention is to beget a good child. The focus is on producing a child. The focus is not on enjoyment. Focus is not on freedom. It is not on some rights or entitlements. In Vedic culture, sex is a responsibility. It is not a hidden, forbidden, sinful activity. Rather, it is an activity by which the couple is producing life. It is bringing life into this world. This is the mood of Vedic literature. Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, such a activity to bring life into this world is dharmic activity, is a sacred activity. It is not forbidden. Neither it is sinful. That's why in temples also they used to describe all this in front of them. It's not a thing that has to be hidden and carpeted and all that. You will see sometimes in temples there is a depiction of all this. So, in Vedic culture these things are considered they are also sacred acts. And what is this responsibility? Sex means it is meant only for child. That's it. This is the responsibility. And then how do they produce the child? As I said, it's not a secret affair. There used to be one ceremony called Garbhadhana Samskara. So the couple who wants to engage in sex and produce a child, either male or female, they never killed the babies based on some scanning. So the couple invites all the neighborhood. They'll all come, and they all know that now the couple is going to engage in sex. It is not a forbidden thing, a sinful thing. It's a ritual. It's a sacred ritual. And the priest would perform a fire sacrifice. Then the couple will distribute prasad to all the family members who came. There is an exchange of gifts, and then the couple engages in the sexual activity. And then again all the villagers will come back, the family members will come back after 1 month or 2 months, and again celebrate the pregnancy. They're all anticipating and expecting the child, and the couple already sought the blessings of everybody that a good child should come, and then everybody is anticipating. There is a reading of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam when the child is inside the womb, and and when the child comes out, then there is a seeing of horoscope. The whole village will sit and understand about the child, what kind of a child has now come into existence. The whole village knows what kind of a boy or a girl he is. And when the boy is running around, a girl is running around, everybody knows, oh, this boy is like this. This is the plus, this is the minus. It is said that an entire village raises a child. It's not just one this thing. Everybody knows, and then they all encourage. Yes, like this, like that. A very interesting social bonding used to be there, and there is no suppression and perversion of sexuality. It is a sacred thing, like eating and whatever. There are so many demands of the body, and they are all being done in relation to God, in relation to Krishna, so they also become sacred activities. So, Vedic culture is like that. It is about duty. Sex means duty. Sex means it's not just a frivolous thing meant to be freedom and enjoyment and exploitation and all that. No, it's a duty. And what is the duty? When the child is born, the parents have to ensure that the child becomes a great devotee of Krishna, Narayana. The child gets increasingly freedom by practice of spirituality. We also want freedom, but this freedom is freedom from the vicious cycle of karma, the freedom from cycle of birth and death. The parents have to ensure that the child doesn't take one more birth. This is parent. Already he has now appeared in my family, this child. Now he should never go into one more womb. The child should never again enter into one more womb. He should be liberated. This is the responsibility of the parents. The whole family life is centered around children, raising the children, caring for them, ensure that they don't go into bad habits, fall into all illusory attractions of this world, but rather becomes a sober man of discrimination, He knows what is good, what is bad. A child is trained up from the childhood. He knows what is what. And then he grows as a gentleman. And he himself, if he wants to enter into married life, he himself becomes a responsible father or a responsible mother. This is the Vedic culture. Entire thing is built upon sacred duties towards Krishna. This is the. But modern world, unfortunately, is built on rights and entitlements. My right. It is my body. I'll enjoy the way I want. It is my right. It is my entitlement. In America, there was a big discussion. And then the way I enjoy, and then if somebody becomes a pregnant, then it is my right whether I want to keep the pregnancy or abort it. It's all about rights. But Vedic culture, Bhagavad Gita is not talking about it. It is saying it is duty. Our culture is duty based. Are you doing your duties properly? Radha Govinda Gita. But Krishna says we all have one right. We all have one big adhikara. What is that adhikara? He says, Karmanyeva adhikara. Our one right that we have is to do our duty. We are all supposed to do our duties, but our mind wants only rights, no duties. Completely free. I want to do whatever I want. So Krishna is saying, yes, you have a right. Yes, what is that right? To do your duty, that's all. This is the only right you have. He combines all these confusions and he says you have only one right, and that is to execute your duty perfectly for the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We should do our duties in such a way that Krishna is attracted, Krishna is pleased, Almighty Lord is pleased. That is the goal of all the duties. So that's why this perfection of the duty is what Kardama Muni is seeking here. He is not worried about the enjoyment or this and that. I am going to now take a responsibility. I am going to enter into a big duty. So I need blessings of the Supreme Lord. That's why he is now going to Sarasvatyam tape, and 10,000 years he has practiced in order to gain that perfection. In Vedic culture, or as per Bhagavad Gita, there is nothing called divorce. In the entire Vedic literature, you don't find this word called divorce. There is nothing. There is never a separation between husband and wife. Never a separation. In fact, the relationship between husband and wife was so intense. It was so intense that the wife cannot live without the husband. And in some cases, when the husband dies early, the wife was so pained and so intensely aggrieved that sometimes she also used to jump into the fire of the husband's death, and then she used to give up her life. This is called sati. But later on this has become a forced phenomena. When our husband dies, they used to force the wife also into the fire. So it has become an evil. Most of the practices today, they are all little diverted or perverted. For example, in Vedic culture, there is nothing called caste system. Caste system is an introduction by the invaders to divide and rule the society. But otherwise, caste system doesn't exist. What Bhagavad Gita talks about is a scientific division of the society based on is inclination and based on skill. It is never based on birth. Somebody is born in Brahmana, so he is a Brahmana. Somebody is born in a Kshatriya family, so he is a Kshatriya. No. It is based on somebody's inclination and somebody's skill. If anybody, he may be born in a Shudra family, but if his inclination is towards God, he can become Brahmana. There is no restriction. But if somebody is born in a Brahmana family, but his inclination is towards enjoyment, exploitation, drink, enjoy, marry, then he is a Shudra. It doesn't matter whether he is a Brahmana born or some other born. So this is the very scientific division. So coming back to this, here he has Sahasranam Samadasha. He has practiced for 10,000 years of yogic practice. Satya Yoga, the Dharma is yoga, meditation on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And during Satya Yoga time, the people used to live for 1 lakh years. Next age, it has come down by 1/10, that means 10,000 years. Then next age, Dwapara, 1,000 years. In this age, 10 divided by 10, 100 years. So those days, the people used to live for a very long period, and 10,000 years is actually nothing. Nothing in the sense, it is 1/10 of his time period. So that is a recommended yoga practice. The meditation on Supreme Lord is a recommended process in Satya Yoga. But then because the age of the person is coming down, every age has a recommended process for perfection. In Treta Yoga, the recommended process was to organize huge homas, yajnas, for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord. But then there is a contamination of the ingredients. As the age progressed, there is a pollution in all the ingredients. It became difficult to procure pure ingredients. And then also there are no Brahmanas who can perfectly chant. And then that much time period is not there. So slowly, the next age, the deity worship was encouraged. But in this age, even deity worship is not easy. Cleanliness, again ingredients and the inclinations of the people. So in this age, the way to achieve perfection is Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama eva kevalam kalo nastiva, nastiva, nastiva gataranyada. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So Prabhupada is criticizing the yoga, the general yoga that people do, saying that this will make you God. And what should I do for that? You just do yoga for 15 minutes. Here, to get perfection, he did yoga for Sahasranam Samadasha. 10,000 years he has practiced yoga. And then he is saying you practice for 15 minutes and afterwards you do whatever you want. Engage in any kind of freedom. Indulge in anything that you want. And then you will become perfect. This philosophy is condemned. The idea is condemned. We are not talking about a specific person. Ideas of ignorance are condemned in the Shastra. So, real meditation means it will take time. And it has 8 angas. Asana, pranayama is only preliminary processes. There are so many things are there. You have to withdraw your senses from the sense objects. Then control the mind. Intensify your focus on Krishna. Then that's called Samadhi. This is all the 8 processes put together brings the perfection of complete absorption in Krishna. So there is no recommendation that you just do for... Of course, if you are doing it for health, that's fine. But don't think that just by doing yoga for some 15-20 minutes and rest of the day we do whatever we want and then ultimately either we become God or we can see the God. No, not possible. Becoming God is a false, bogus philosophy. No human being can become God, Krishna, Narayana. It is a false philosophy. A human being will remain human. But what is his perfection then? Here you can see Bhagavan Kardama, he has practiced this yoga and he has attained perfection of directly seeing Krishna face to face, the Supreme Personality of God. In fact, he had a darshan of Vishnu standing on Garuda. So these descriptions of how Krishna is, how Vishnu looks, or how Garuda looks, they are not fictitious. This is one more bogus propaganda that all these things are fictitious or mythological. No. Kardama, he had darshan of the Supreme Lord, and there are descriptions we will see what he saw in the Supreme Lord. So God has a form, we can experience that form, we can see, we can experience Krishna's association. But you need to know the right process. And what is the right process? In this age, anybody who wants association of the Supreme Lord, Krishna, Ramachandra or Narasimha, the recommended process is to chant the holy name of Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So when we are chanting, hearing is the crucial part. And if you hear, that is equal to seeing Krishna. In transcendental realm, there is no difference between seeing and hearing. This is the absolute plane. So if Krishna's holy name enters into your ears, that means you are having darshan of the Supreme Personality of God. It may take little time to understand this absolute nature, but that's why Prabhupada in many quotes he says, when you chant and hear, you are seeing God face to face. He says, he's actually face to face. He's there, he's already appeared. And when you receive him respectfully, nicely, through your ears, and that is equal to having this darshan. You see him face to face. So, devotees, if we want perfection in life, that means to be able to see Krishna, to engage in his service, to be able to associate with him, then that is possible. That is called perfection. And that is possible when we improve our chanting and hearing. Without diverting our mind to any other topic, we should not be thinking deliberately about this any other topic. One should nicely produce the sound and then hear. This very simple process directly brings us into the association of the Supreme Lord. And then one day we experience that actually we are touching him face to face. This is the process in this age. Chant Hare Krishna and be happy. We'll stop here. Any questions? Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
శ్రీకృష్ణుణ్ణి చేరుకోవడానికి, కృష్ణ భక్తిని అందరికీ అందించటానికి బృందావనం వైపు ఉరకలేస్తున్న యమునోత్రి. విష్ణుపాదమే తన పుట్టినిల్లుగా కైలాసం చేరుకోవడానికి పరుగులు తీస్తున్న గంగోత్రి. కురుక్షేత్ర ఘోర హత్యా పాపం శంకరుణ్ణి శాంతపరచడం లక్ష్యంగా పాండవులు నిర్మించిన కేదార్నాథ్ సమస్త సాధు పుంగవులకు, ఋషులకు, ఆధ్యాత్మిక సాధనకు స్ఫూర్తినిచ్చే నరనారాయణులను నడయాడిన ప్రదేశం బద్రీనాథ్.
హరే కృష్ణ గోల్డెన్ టెంపుల్ వారి మరో అపురూప కానుక హరే కృష్ణవాణి ఆధ్యాత్మిక మాసపత్రిక. ఇప్పుడు మొబైల్ యాప్ ద్వారా కూడా సులభంగా పత్రికలు చదువుకునే సౌకర్యం, వార్షిక సభ్యత్వం, భగవద్గీత, భాగవత ప్రవచనాలు, స్ఫూర్తి సందేశాలు, ఇంకా మరెన్నో సదుపాయాలతో హరే కృష్ణవాణి మొబైల్ యాప్ నేడే డౌన్లోడ్ చేసుకోండి. మరిన్ని వివరాల కోసం కాల్ చేయండి 9133